India's glorious history of combat trains has reached a new milestone. On September 24th, India successfully test-launched its nuclear-capable Agni Prime missile from a rail-based mobile launcher system. With this successful launch, India has entered an elite club of nations. The United States, Russia, North Korea and China capable of firing nuclear-capable missiles from rail-based systems. This launch was no ordinary deal. While Agni Prime was tested earlier as well, this time the significance lay in its rail-based launch. To understand why, let's revisit the Cold War era when nuclear trains first emerged. In the 1980s, both Soviet Union and the United States began experimenting with integrating ICBMs on railway carriages. The Soviet Union successfully deployed the RT-23 Molodets, a three-stage solid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile with a range of 10,000 to 11,000 kilometers. Each missile could carry up to 10 multiple integrated re-entry vehicle or the MIRV warheads, each packaging a 550 kiloton yield. The idea was simple but deadly. Disguise missiles within ordinary trains, making them extremely difficult for enemy satellites to detect. These trains were self-sufficient, could travel over 1,000 kilometers daily and dispersed across 150,000 kilometers of Soviet railways, giving Moscow a formidable second strike capability. By the time the USSR dissolved in 1991, it had already deployed 12 such trains. The Soviets weren't alone. The Americans also pursued their own version of missile trains. Here's what happened. In response, the United States developed a rail garrison system, aiming to deploy 50 Peacekeeper MX intercontinental ballistic missiles on 25 trains. The project was approved in year 1986, and by the year 1988, a prototype was tested. However, after the collapse of Soviet Union, the project was cancelled in 1991. Only one prototype survived today, preserved in the National Museum of the United States Air Force. But Russia didn't entirely abandon this idea. In fact, in the 2010s, it tried to resurrect the concept with a new generation of nuclear trains. In 2012, Russia began developing a successor to RT-23, known as RS-27, which would use a lighter RS-24 Yars missile weighing only 54 tons and carrying 4 nuclear warheads. Lighter weight allowed the system to be mounted on standard train wagons and fit up to 6 missiles per train. The Yars reportedly travel at 20 times the speed of sound, performs evasive maneuvers, and deploys decoys to confuse interceptors. But after Russia's annexation of Crimea in year 2014 and international sanctions coupled with declining oil revenue, the progress had slowed down.
So why nuclear trains? First, they are extremely hard to detect. Second, they can blend seamlessly with civilian trains, making identification almost impossible. Third, they offer high mobility, moving over 1,000 kilometers in a single day. And finally, they provide survivability against first strikes, ensuring a credible second strike capability. That's what makes nuclear trains one of the most survivable nuclear deterrent options in modern warfare.
In year 2019, Russian media revived the story, reporting plans to test fire an ICBM from a new missile-equipped death train called the Barguzin BZ-HRK. The train was designed to carry 6 RS-24 Yars ICBMs, each weighing 55 tons and capable of carrying up to 10 nuclear warheads. Post-Cold War treaties also played their part. In the year 1993, START II treaty banned MIRVs on the ICBMs, forcing Russia to retire its RT-23 trains by 2005. Today, only preserved models remain on display in different museums. The re-emergence of nuclear trains signals a new phase in global deterrence. China revived this concept in 2010s. North Korea unveiled its own missile train in 2021, and now India has joined the group, giving its nuclear deterrent an unprecedented survivability and mobility. From the Soviet Union's Modolet to Russia's Barguzin and now India's Agni Prime, nuclear trains have come a very long way. For India, this is not just about technology but about survivability, credibility, and strengthening its nuclear deterrent posture, also known as the triad.